Hello, everybody. Let's do this. All right. What I'd like you to do is try and do the beginning part on your own, right? You underline the information you know. What are you trying to find out, and what's given? Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's just be organized. What's given? What's known? Oh, I forgot. It's in the wrong order, right? Known is on top, and it doesn't matter. Known, given, and what you're trying to find. Okay. And visually, what's happening? So here, let's look at the first sentence. It says the radius of a cone is decreasing at a constant rate of 5 centimeters per minute. So here, how can you translate that? The radius of the cone. So you're given that the r dt is equal to 5 centimeters per minute. Okay, and it's negative, right, because it's decreasing. And the volume is also decreasing at a rate of 148 cubic centimeters per minute. So here we could have, let's underline this in pink. And how do we translate that? dv dt is negative 148 cubic centimeters per minute. Okay, now at the instant when the radius of the cone is 2 centimeters, so you also know that your R value is 2 centimeters and the volume is 21 cubic centimeters. Okay, so 21 cubic centimeters. What is the rate of change of the height? Okay, so what is the rate of change of the height? What you're trying to find is the h dt. Okay, and what are you given? I'm sorry, what do you know for sure? You know that the volume of a cone is given by the formula V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, so now what do you want to do? You want to find dh dt. So let's do it. Here, what's the first move? Let us take V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And what are we going to do? We're going to take the derivative of both sides with respect to t. So let's do that. Here we'll do it in this color. We're going to take d dt on both sides. D dt on both sides. Okay. Now here, let's see what's going on. This just becomes dv dt. Okay. Now what happens over here? Notice, how are we going to take the derivative of this? Notice that the 1/3 pi, this is a constant. So this just stays over here on the outside, okay? So 1/3 pi. And now we want to take the derivative of r squared times h. Now, how do we take the derivative of this? What I want you to do is pause and think about it. How would you take the derivative of this function of r squared and h? Here you're going to have to, if you want to see how it's done, you have to use the product rule. So now here you have to ask yourself, what is your f and what is your g? Because here for the product rule you have f prime g plus g prime f, right? Okay, so here, what is your f value? The f value is r squared, and so then f prime is what? Try and pause the video and try and do this by yourself. What's the g? It's h. So g prime. So here, this is going to be 2r dr dt. Okay, because you're taking the derivative with respect to that t. And what will be the derivative of h? It's dh dt. Okay, so now let's plug it all in. So now you have dv dt is equal to 1/3 pi, and 1/3 pi is the same as pi over 3 times, now we got to put in f prime g. So what is f prime? So we have 2r dr dt times g, so h, plus g prime, which is dh dt over, dh dt, and f is r squared. Okay. Now what do you want to do once you get to this point? I want you to pause the video and try and answer that question. Like, what's the next move once you get to this point? What are you trying to find? Okay. Let's just go back to the problem. You want to find dH dt. So how can you somehow isolate this? But let's plug in the things that we know. So do we know dV dt? Yeah, we know dV dt. It is negative 148 equals pi over 3 times. Do we have 2? Okay, so we know 2. Do we have r? R is also 2. What else? Do we have dr dt? Yes, we do. It's negative 5. Do we have h? We don't have h. Okay, so we may have to find h. Do we have dH dt? No. So we don't know what dH dt plus dH dt. And this r squared, do we have r? Yeah, we do. R is just 2, so this is just, times of 4. Okay? So notice that you do want to get, how many variables do you don't know? You don't know 2 variables. You don't know h and you don't know dH dt. So notice we need to find h right now. And then how are we going to find h? Try and be clever and find h given the information you have. Notice that you know that v is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h. So now what are we going to need to do? We're going to need to find, we will need to find h before we could find dH dt. So now, let's see. Do we have volume? You have what the volume is. V is equal to 21. 1/3, or you could say just pi over 3 instead of 1/3 pi. R squared, and remember your radius is 2, so it's 2 squared times h. Notice you have everything you need to get h by itself. So how do we do that? We have 21 is equal to 4 pi over 3, because the 2 squared is 4. 4 times pi is 4 pi, then have 3 under, and times h. Now what are we going to do? We're going to divide both sides by 4 pi over 3. So this is 4 pi over 3. So now you're going to have to use a calculator for this. So h is equal to, let's see, let's grab a calculator, and what I want you to do is practice using your own calculator, right? So what would this be? Second alpha y equals n over d. 21 is on top, and then what's on the bottom? We need another fraction of 4 pi over 3. Boom. So it's 5.01. So I'm sorry, we don't don't round this, right? So you just give the whole number. So it's 5.013380707. Okay, this is the height. And one thing I kind of forgot to talk about was visually, what's going on. This is a cone, right? Think of like a ice cream, like an ice cream cone or upside down, or like a party hat, right? So the height of the cone is this part here. That's the height. It's saying every second the height will be, well, let's see. Am I missing something? Is the height positive or negative? Let's just make sure we have our measurements right. Your volume is positive. The R is positive. Yeah, so this height is also positive. So notice that your height is a positive. H is equal to 5.013380707. Now we have to find dH dt. Notice, what do you think dH dt is going to be? Will it be a positive value or a negative value? You have to think about it, right? Notice it's probably going to be negative because the cone is decreasing, right? So now we just plug in the numbers, and now we just got to find dH dt. So negative 148 equals pi over 3 times, okay, now this is what? 4 negative 20 times, we have h now, so it's 5.013380707 plus 4 times the h dt. Okay, Now we gotta keep going. We gotta somehow get this dHdt by itself. What I want you to do is pause the video and try and do it by yourself. See if you got what it takes. I want you to try. Okay. So now here, what would be the first move? I would get rid of this pi over 3. So I'm gonna divide both sides by pi over 3. Okay. So now what does this become? These pi over 3's cancel. And now I'm gonna do negative. Okay, so my bad. Second alpha y over d, negative 148 divided by second alpha pi over 3. So, oh, it gave me a fraction like this. I don't want it to give me a fraction like this. How can I do that? Okay, so I'll do negative 148 divided by okay, cool. So here's so it's negative 148 divided by pi over 3. You should get negative 141.329589.5. And that equals, okay, now we need to so notice that these two cancel. Notice we want to multiply these two numbers. Okay, so let's do that. So negative 20 times 5.013380707. Okay, so that equals negative 100.2676141 plus 4 dH dt. And we're almost done. Now what do we have to do? Let's add this 100 over here. This 100 point, yeah. So we're gonna do negative. Oh boy, it's a lot of work on the calculator. Negative 141.329595895 divided by, oh no, not divided by, plus 100.2676141. So now that's equal to negative 41.0619754 is equal to 4 dH dt. Now what are you going to do to get dH dt by itself? Divide both sides by 4. So here I could just say take the answer of what I have divided by 4, and that's equal to negative 10.26549385. And notice that this is dH dt. Okay. And then what are we going to do here? Let's notice the question is saying round it to 3 decimal places, right? So we're going to round this dH dt to 3 decimal places, so it's negative 10.265. And now we just have to give the units of measurement. Notice that what will be the units of measurement for dH dt? It'll be, let's see, it'll be centimeters per minute, because it's talking about every minute, right? So that is dH dt. And what does this dH dt mean? It's saying that, pause the video and try and write down what this means, but it's saying the height of the cone is decreasing by negative 10.265 centimeters per minute. Okay. Yeah, not too bad. You just have to kind of like go with the steps and stuff. All right, so this was for question 5. What I'd like you to do is try and do this question number 6 by yourself, and I'm not going to make a video for it. Okay, we'll try and do this question in class tomorrow. Here, for the cylinder, what I want you to do is I want you to try and do this one on your own. Okay, and we'll go over it tomorrow. But here, the idea is if you have V equals pi r squared h, here, what is the derivative? What happens if you take d dt on both sides? This becomes dv dt equals Now you have to take the derivative of this. So it's pi times r squared h. And you have to, how would you take the derivative of this r squared h? You have to use the product rule. And actually, I'm guessing the cone, this was much more difficult. The cone is maybe the most difficult problem. The cylinder is not too bad. But you have to use the product rule. So your f is r squared, your f prime is something, right? Your g is h, and your g prime is something, right? So what is it? It's 2r dr dt, and this is dh dt, okay? All right, good luck on your delta math, and I want you to not get frustrated if you can't solve a problem, okay? I'm only gonna put 3 problems. Let's see, just work on them, okay? I don't expect you to do all the delta math tonight because this was a lot to take in for, yesterday and today. But I want you to at least try and get one question right, all right? You guys are the best. I'll see you.